Good morning, we're now on the video record. Today is Monday, the 17th day of December, 2018. We're commencing approximately 11:23 a.m. This is the videotaped deposition of Xue Zhong Liu. We're located at 44 West Flagler Street, 14th floor, Miami, Florida. This is taken on behalf of the plaintiffs in case number 17-017351, CA02. In the matter of Fertil versus University of Miami et al. Our court reporter is Mauricio Mendez with Esquire. My name is Mike Massa, the videographer with Esquire. Would counsel please state your appearance for the record, after which our court reporter will swear the witness.
Elizabeth Liebeck from Beck & Lee on behalf of the sole plaintiff, Ms. Bertha Fertil.
I'm Victor Arca from Beck & Lee, also on behalf of Ms. Fertil.
Jack McCoy, Wicker Smith, on behalf of Dr. Liu and the University of Miami.
Just to clarify the record, Mr. Arca is not yet admitted to the Florida bar, but we expect him to be shortly to be admitted.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down.
So as a preliminary matter, the counsel for the witness and defendant, Dr. Liu, has ordered a Mandarin interpreter who is here today. Dr. Liu, do you require an interpreter?
No.
Have you ever been deposed before?
No.
Okay. You understand that you are under oath? That's a question, sir. Do you understand that you are under oath?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to ask you a series of questions, and you will answer them to the best of your ability, as accurately and as truthfully as you can. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you do not understand a question, please say so. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. There is a court reporter here. Do you see him?
Yes.
He is taking down everything that is said in this room while we are on the record. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. You cannot shake your head and you cannot go, mm-hmm. You have to answer clearly so that it is entered properly into the record. Do you understand?
Yes.
If at any time you need a break, please let me know.
Thanks.
Okay. Now, I will ask you a series of questions. Your attorney, Mr. McCoy, may make objections on the record. Unless he directs you not to answer those questions, you must answer those questions. Do you understand?
Yes.
If at any time I ask you a question and your answer goes into communications you have had with your attorney, you are not obligated, nor should you, talk about those discussions, because those communications are attorney-client privileged. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to show you a document which we will mark as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Have you seen this document before?
Yes.
What is it?
This is the re-notice of taking deposition of Xue Zhong Liu for me, and tell me the time and the dates for this.
Keep your voice up just a little bit, please.
And the location.
Are you here pursuant to Exhibit 1?
Yes.
Do you understand that you are a defendant in this pending lawsuit?
Yes.
Are you currently under the influence of any medications or alcohol?
No.
Are you capable of answering truthfully and accurately today?
Yes.
Let me finish my question, even if you can anticipate it. And then when I conclude my question, then you can answer, sir. Are you capable of answering truthfully and accurately today?
Yes.
I am going to show you, which we will mark as Plaintiff's Exhibit 2. Have you seen this document before?
This one, I don't know.
Okay. Do you see under the title of this document, Mandarin Interpreter Ordered, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need a Mandarin interpreter for this deposition?
No.
If at any time you do require a Mandarin interpreter, will you please let me know?
Yes.
I understand your attorney has ordered a Mandarin interpreter who is here today. When were you born?
Date of birth.
May 24, 1961.
I would like to request, Mr. McCoy, that you not elaborate on my questions if the witness cannot answer them or finds them not fully understood. He is free to ask me for clarification.
Okay, you've asked.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Could you read back the answer?
May 24th, 1961.
Where were you born?
Chongqing in China.
What part of China?
Southwest of China. A city called Chongqing. Chongqing.
How long did you live in Chongqing after you were born?
Until 18 years ago, went to medical school. So 18 years total.
Did you live in Chongqing 18 years, or did you live in Chongqing until 18 years ago?
I live in Chongqing for 18 years.
Understood. Did you go to high school there?
Yes,
Did you graduate high school at the age of 18?
Yes,
Where did you go next?
to Medical University of Sichuan in Chengdu, Chengdu.
And where is that?
In city called Chengdu, capital of Sichuan province in China.
And you went to medical university?
Yes,
Did you begin your schooling in medicine at the age of 18?
yes.
And how many years did you study at Sichuan University before you received your first degree?
5 years to Bachelor of Medicine. That's a Chinese medical system, like a European system. So 1984, I received my medical degree of a bachelor in medicine. Then I went to the ear, nose, throat training program in same medical school there right after I graduated from my medical school
You went to what training? I'm sorry?
as a resident training in ear, nose, throat, head and neck surgery in July 1984. 5 years since I finished my medical school.
Were you a resident in ear, nose, throat, head, and neck surgery at the same university, Sichuan?
Yes,
How many years were you a resident?
that's a for master degree, is a system. By that time, China is different from medical training system in United States. So I went for 3 years. Then 1987, I graduated from otolaryngology specialty training and start my, practice ear, nose, throat doctor there.
After 5 years leading to a bachelor's and 3 years as a resident
And a specialty.
in a specialty,
Yeah.
at that point, were you a fully licensed doctor?
Yes, the system I follow in junior, like a house doctor.
I didn't understand. Say it again, please. Say it again, repeat your answer.
Yes, I fully licensed as a ear, nose, throat doctor
Okay,
since 1987.
fully licensed.
Yeah, fully licensed.
This was in China?
Yes,
Okay. Is the licensing national at that time in China? Were you licensed to practice medicine in 1987?
by that time,
Let me finish my question. In 1987, were you fully licensed to practice medicine throughout the country of China?
yes.
Did you, in fact, go into the practice of medicine after you graduated in 1987?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So by that time, Chinese system, when you choose a specialty like me for 3 years, ear, nose, throat, then you start to work in some hospital for specialty. I stayed because of my excellent performance. The same university, same department wanted me as a faculty there. So I practice my medicine as an otolaryngologist and finish my chief resident year. Because in China, chief resident year is after your special training. So I practice as ear, nose, throat doctor in Department of Otolaryngology until 1991.
You practiced at Xue Zhong University as a doctor after 1987?
1970. In the meantime, I also registered as a, PhD student to do some research
You registered as a what?
as a PhD degree.
PhD degree. Oh,
Degree.
understood.
Yeah, to looking for hearing courses. They are allow you to like a due courage. When you start to work, you also can work on for your higher degree. It's a manifold research, PhD.
In 1987, did you begin seeing patients?
Yes,
How many patients did you see on average a day when you began practice in 1987?
depend on anything average from 30 to 50.
You were seeing 30 to 50 patients while concurrently working on your PhD degree at this time?
Yes, and also sometime, with the forecast, sometime, depend on the job department assigned to me.
You mentioned that as a result of your, and I'm paraphrasing here, your excellent performance. Do you recollect saying something along those lines?
Yes,
Okay.
because
Tell us what you meant by that.
my medical school in China is, by my time, is one of the 4 top medical schools in China with 100 years of history, initially set up by American and Canadian missionary.
What missionaries?
Well, with the Canada and the United States, because by 100 years ago, the European and North American missionary group set up 4 medical schools in different locations of China. For Southwest, 1 in our region.
A second,
Hold
you're
on a
scowling.
second.
Are you not getting this?
I'm not understanding it as easily as
Are
the way
you
she speaks.
getting it or not? I mean,
Not everything.
Oh,
Not
boy.
everything as I should.
then let's use the interpreter. Come on up, have a seat.
I'm sorry.
I just need you to tell me. You need to tell us if you're not getting it.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy.
Go off the record for 1 moment.
Yeah, let's go off the record. The witness has stated that he does not require an interpreter. Mr. McCoy would like the interpreter. My concern is that it will eat into my time, so I'm going to reserve all rights to continue this deposition as is necessary, because as we all know, having an interpreter adds considerable amount of time to the taking of a deposition.
You done?
Yes.
The court reporter has indicated that he's not able to understand, and he doesn't believe that he's recorded it in totality with an understanding of what the witness is saying. So in order to make sure that we have an accurate record to the satisfaction of the court reporter, then I feel it is necessary to use the interpreter. We certainly were willing to do it without. Dr. Liu has told me that he didn't need it, but if the court reporter doesn't understand what he's saying, we will not get an accurate record without the interpreter. So we'll proceed with the interpreter.
Since this is my deposition, I am going to propose that I will repeat back Dr. Liu's answers, and if the court reporter at any point cannot take down the answer, I would respectfully ask the court reporter to let me know. I think that would speed things up. So we will not be using your services unless the court reporter tells me that.
No,
So
I'm
we will.
sorry. We're going to use the
We are not going
interpreter.
to use the
Listen,
translator.
you could-
This is my deposition.
That's fine. We're going to use an interpreter. The court reporter has told us he didn't understand.
I understand
Wait,
that.
now, you have to let me finish, because we have to put a record here, because you're probably going to stop this deposition. So I want it clear on the record that the court reporter has told us that
Yes.
he did not understand
Correct.
Dr. Liu when he was testifying. So I have asked that the interpreter, and I'm going to use the interpreter. If you choose to cancel the deposition or terminate it, that is your choice, but we are going to use the interpreter.
What I'm going to do, Dr. Liu, is I'm going to repeat my answers back to you, and I'm going to ask the court reporter if he got what I said, and I'm going to ask you to confirm. And I don't want to hear a word out of you, sir. So
Okay,
we'll
now
move
you-
on.
No, just a second. Just a second. You just pointed at the interpreter and said you didn't want to hear a word out of him. If you're going to proceed
Yes, sir.
without the interpreter,
Yes.
then we're going to terminate the deposition. So we will terminate the deposition, and we'll take it before the court and let the judge determine whether it's appropriate to use an interpreter or not.
Well, then, let's do this. I would like the interpreter to repeat the witness's answer, but not translate the question.
We're going
Because
to use an
that's,
interpreter as interpreters are utilized in depositions. You speak, the interpreter interprets, the doctor responds, and then the interpreter interprets.
I don't
So-
think that's necessary because
I don't
the
know, but that's
witness, the court reporter has said that he has no issues with taking me down. Okay? So please don't try to hijack my deposition, Mr. McCoy.
Now, we're going to stop here, because we're either going to use the interpreter as it is utilized, and as we have cross-noticed the deposition, there was no objection to that, as there was no objection to the video. So now you're trying to dictate how this will take place. I am willing to sit here all day long with an interpreter if that's what's necessary.
Then do you stipulate that we
No, I
can?
don't. No, I don't. We're going to do it in the fashion.
Then let me finish. Then do you stipulate that we will continue this deposition should I need more time?
Well, I haven't put any limitation on you.
Okay, good. That's fine. That's
So now we're
fine.
willing to do this?
We are. If I don't finish my deposition today, then we will continue on to a second day, which I think is very reasonable.
I have no, as long as we're not being repetitive and all these other things, which I'm not going to stipulate to, which I can bring up at a later time, but I haven't put any limitations on you.
Okay, good.
I simply want an accurate record.
That's fine. Could you read back the
So,
last
Doctor,
question?
Here's the way it's going to work now. Question will be asked. It will be interpreted to you. You will respond in Chinese. It will be interpreted back in English, okay? That's the only way we can do it, because we have to be sure.
Actually,
that
sir.
the court reporter, if you just let me finish, that the court reporter gets an accurate record, okay?
Actually, sir, doctor, I would request that you answer in English, and the translator can translate to the extent necessary to create an accurate record.
No, that's-
Now, let me ask you this, doctor.
Wait, stop. That's not the way it's going to work. It's not. It's not going to leave it to his interpretation. We're going to do the interpretation, the response, and the interpretation.
Are you comfortable answering in English?
He is.
No,
Yes.
excuse
Objecting to
me.
that. And
Excuse
you've already
me,
asked him
Mr.
that once. He said, yes, I'm stipulating
Then let's
that he is.
I'm going to leave it to you. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer in English. Your lawyer wants you to answer in Chinese. I'm going to leave it to you to do what you think is right. You understand, sir?
All right, so...
Do you understand? Why don't you
Doctor,
translate that
You're not going to
question?
be instructing my witness
No,
about the procedure here. I can't remember a time when the court reporter said he did not understand and was not getting an accurate record and had an attorney object to interpreter so we could get an accurate record. We are going to do that, not because you don't understand or I don't understand or he's not capable. I have a court reporter who said that he is not getting an accurate record. So in order for the court reporter, not that you don't understand, not that I don't understand, and not that he's not capable, but to make sure that the court reporter gets us an accurate record, we are going to do this through an interpreter. And you're not going to instruct him what to do or not to do. We're going to utilize the interpreter as interpreters are utilized.
I want the record to be clear that the court reporter has no issue understanding me, and Mr. Liu has testified that he has no issues.
Dr. Liu.
Dr. Liu has no issues in answering the questions in English. So the only issue that I see is with the court reporter's perceived difficulties in transcribing Dr. Liu. And so I don't see an issue with Dr. Liu answering in English and the translator translating, well, it wouldn't be a translation, but enunciating it in a more clear manner. So, sir, I would like you to translate this question to Dr. Liu. I would like to ask you, I would like you to answer in English. Your lawyer would like you to answer in Chinese. I am going to leave that to you to decide, sir. Do you understand?
我希望你能够用英语来回答问题，但是呢，你的律师希望呢你能够通过一个翻译用中文来回答这个问题。那么我现在把这个问题就留给你，你本人希望是怎么样做，用什么来回答？
Do you understand?
Yes,
听懂？
Okay, so,
Sir.
but
understanding.
just so that we're clear, I am the one, not you, I'm the one directing that the interpretation be done as interpretations are done. And you're not going to direct him what to do. We're going to utilize an interpreter, and it will interpret everyone who's involved, my questions, your questions, his answers.
Dr. Liu, you understand that you are answering the questions, not your lawyer, correct?
刘医生，你知道那个是你来回答问题，不是你的律师来回答问题你理解这一点对吧？
是
Yes.
And you understand that you said that you are comfortable answering in English, correct?
你理解就是你曾经说过你可以用英语来回答问题，
是
对吧 ？Yes.
Will you be answering in English or Chinese?
He will be answering in Chinese.
And
because that's what I am
I am
directing
answering
to do.
him.
No, you're not.
I'm asking him.
No, you wait. I'm telling you, as his attorney, I'm instructing him to handle an interpreter the way an interpreter works, and that is that you ask, it is interpreted, and is responded. I am directing him as to how this will work, and it's the same way it works. It has worked for 40 years with interpreters. So if we can get started here, it would be great.
Let the record reflect that Mr. McCoy has now directed his client to answer in Chinese. Do you understand that direction, Dr. Liu?
就是你的律师现在告诉你要通过翻译来回答问题，那你理解他这个指示吗？
我同意。
Yes, I agree.
And I have directed him to do that so that the court reporter has a clear understanding of his answers, which he did not have without the benefit of the interpreter.
那我指示他用这个翻译来回答问题，这样那个法庭记录员可以有一个很明确的这个对你的回答的理解。这种理解呢，在没有翻译的情况下可能达不到。
That's not a question.
这不是一个问题，只是。
Did you indeed get a PhD?
那你究竟有没有得到这个 PhD？
In China?
Yes.
No.
You mentioned you were studying towards a PhD, is that correct?
Yes.
Wait, here's the problem with this, and I understand that, but we have to go through the interpreter, and then so.
就是说我们刚才已经说好了要通过翻译来进行那他的问题就是你说过你在就是在那个为得到那个 PhD 学习过，对吗？
是。
Yes.
Did you not complete your studies?
那你的学习没有完成，对吗？
中国那个没有，然后因为我有chance被邀请到 英国曼彻斯特大学继续我的 PhD。
I didn't finish the program in China because I got a opportunity to. I was invited to Manchester University in United Kingdom to continue my study.
When was this?
那是什么时间？
是1991年7月。
That was July 1991.
Did you continually see patients from 1987 to 1991?
那从1987年到1991年这个期间，你是继续看病人对吗？
是。
Yes.
Did you have any disciplinary actions in connection with any of the patients that you saw in 1987 through 1991?
在1991年和1987年到1991年期间，你有没有因为你所看的这些病人而受到一些纪律处分？
没有。
No.
Were you reported to any medical boards in connection with any patients you saw from 1987 to 1991?
那从
Object to the form of the question, you can go ahead and answer.
从1987年到1991年期间，有没有因为这些病人的问题，向那个医学委员会做出对你做出举报？
没有。
No.
Do you understand what medical malpractice is?
你知道这个医疗误诊这个是或者是医疗不当是什么意思吗？
知道。Go ahead.
Yes.
What is your understanding of medical malpractice?
那么你对于这个医疗误诊或者是那个不当有什么样是怎么理解的？
这个的话，在中国的时候，所有的你作为一个医生，没有按医疗规范和 medical 医学制定的各个专业的规章来诊断治疗病人。
In China, that malpractice is when a doctor didn't follow the regulations for medical practice and the guidelines for the specialty for each specialties in their diagnosis and treatment.
In China, while you were in practice from 1987 to 1991, what is your understanding of repercussions, if any, exist for medical malpractice?
就是说，在1987年到1991年中间，在你在中国行医中间那么你知道就是哪些是关于这个医学就是回顾性的追溯的那个规定？
在这个时间，中国这个医疗记录系统也没有计算机，都是单独的 individual 这个单独的病历本，然后这病历本是病人保持，各个医院除了手术记录、住院病历有梳洗的病历记录外，这是一个很好的记录。然后门诊的病人呢，都是一个医疗本，然后看完后由病人保持。应该很清楚。
At that time in China, we didn't have electronic medical records, and the medical record was handwritten as a little booklet, and it was for the patients to keep. And in the hospital, we have handwritten record for the procedural operations and also the records for the hospitalizations. So for outpatient, we rely on the booklet that the patient provides. But we did have a pretty good records.
My question is, in the event of medical malpractice, what regulatory or legal procedures are in place to correct or rectify any alleged instances of medical malpractice in the area where you practiced from 1987 to 1991?
In China.
那我
In China, yes, sir.
我的问题就是，就是在1987年到1991年，你在中国行医期间，如果出现这种误诊或者是或者是什么其他的医疗事故的情况下，有什么样的法律法规的那个过程来对这个事故或者是误诊做出一些个改正或者是补救这样的措施是什么？
第一，我从来没经历过这种医疗事故的投诉。第二，医院都有明显的规章制度，病人要投诉，通过医院医管处，就是协调病人医生的关系，然后按照当时中国的医院法规来进行处理。
First of all, I didn't have any experience in malpractice in China. The second is that if there's a malpractice happened and the hospital will have a special division called Medical Management Division to coordinate all of these processes and resolve the issues according to the related laws and the regulations.
在那个时间没有律师。
At that time, we didn't have special attorneys or lawyers for that area.
So while you were in practice as a doctor from 1987 to 1991, medical malpractice lawsuits did not exist in China at that time?
那也就是说，在1987年到1991年，你在中国行医期间，那个时候中国没有这种医疗事故的诉讼，对吗？
应该有，但是不常见。我不能确定。
There should be, but it was very rare, and I'm not sure about if there is or not.
Okay. So sitting here today, he cannot recollect whether or not medical malpractice suits existed in China from 1987 to 1991?
那也就是说，就是说你今天坐在这里的时候，你不记得从1987年到1991年这个期间，在中国是否有这种医疗事故的诉讼案件，是这样吗？
Are you sure or are you not sure?
你是确定还是不确定？
不确定。
I'm not sure.
To become licensed as a doctor in China at that time when you were licensed, is there a medical malpractice exam that you take?
那在中国要想获得行医执照就像你在中国获得行医执照那么是不是要经过一个就是这种医疗事故的这方面的考试？
它这个是有的，但是这个系统非常和这个美国的医学教育不同。鉴于各种原因，中国的
Yes, there was this kind of a exam. However, it is very different from the system here in the United States due to many reasons.
And even, 30 years ago, 30年前的中国和现在的中国很不一样，就
And it's even different between now and 30 years ago for this kind of a process exam.
Tell us about that. How is it different?
你能不能讲一下这个有什么区别，有什么不同？
据我所知，现在中国的很多医疗法规都比较接近于这个北美的，但是鉴于这个医疗系统的不一样，有很多这个不同的地方。但是我因为这已经 beyond 这个我的专利和我也不是我所关心的现在中国的情况的问题了。
According to my knowledge, the law and the regulation for medical practice
In China, 在中国
is currently already very close to those in United States. However, since that's not it's not something that I'm, very concerned about in China, what happened in China. So I don't have a very good knowledge on that, and it's beyond my specialties and my business here.
From 1987 to 1991, when you practiced as a doctor in China, how was that system different from your understanding of how the system is here in the United States?
那就是在
May I just ask, what system? Are you talking now about the testing or the system of
The
actual
system
practice
of medical
medicine?
malpractice processing.
那就是在
Jack, repetitive, go ahead.
1987年到1991年期间，你所知道，就是在当时关于这种医疗事故，它的这个规定，和美国这边有什么样的区别吗？
我个人认为是完全不同。第一，在中国那个时候没有律师系统，如果说有医疗问题，都是病人方和医院的所谓医管所直接进行沟通、协商解决。
I think they were totally different. First of all, in China at that time, we didn't have attorneys for this kind of for this type of a case, and when something like a malpractice happened, most of the time it was the patient and the medical management division of the hospital to have their communications and mediations together.
Understood. Outside of the hospital, were there any other procedures or regulatory or legal agencies that you were aware of that would help resolve medical malpractice disputes in China from 1987 to 1991?
那就是在医院以外的地方有没有任何的这个法律法规或者是相关的法律机构来这个进行处理或者帮助处理这种医疗事故的这种问题，就是在1987年到1991年这个期间在中国。
我认为没有。
I don't think so.
From 1987 to 1991 in China, Did doctors get medical malpractice insurance?
Can I ask why this is relevant, what happened in China in 87 and 91?
Let's translate the question.
Well, okay, I'm going to take since I don't have an explanation, I'll do an oral, I'm doing an oral or tennis motion for protective order. Please don't answer the question.
他的问题是，就是在1987年到1991年之间，在中国有没有 ？Can you repeat the question?
In China, from 1987 to 1991, did doctors get medical malpractice insurance?
就是在当时有没有医生保险？你的律师要求你不要回答。
Okay, so I'm going to instruct him not to answer under a or tennis motion for protective order as to, we've gone on this now for about 10 minutes about medical malpractice in China in 1987 and 1991. I don't know the relevance of that. I can't imagine the relevance of that. I've asked for some relevance. I got no answer, so.
Relevance is not a basis.
You don't have to give it. I asked, you don't have to give it, I understand that.
Your objection of relevance is
That's not
not.
relevant. That's not what I'm saying.
当
I'm
时
saying
这个
that
情况
there
跟
is
现在有什么关系
nothing.？
最后一个问题是问你有没有误诊这
Okay,
个保险
I've made my
不能说
objection.
Okay, Doctor, you understand this is a case for medical malpractice?
医生，你知道这个案件是关于这个医疗事故的。
是的。
Yes.
Do you have medical malpractice today?
What does that mean, medical malpractice? Do you mean
Medical
insurance?
malpractice insurance?
那你现在有没有这种医疗事故的保险
当然有。
？Yes, of course.
Okay. When did you begin carrying medical malpractice insurance?
那你什么时候开始买这种误诊的保险的？
当我完成了我的住院医生 training， 在迈阿密大学，那就是2008年。
I got the insurance after I finished my residency training in University of Miami. That was 2008.
Did you ever carry medical malpractice insurance prior to 2008?
那在2008年之前，你有没有这种医疗误诊的保险？
In any country?
在任何国家？
在美国有，在我5年的住院医生训练期间，那是我的那个就是作为住院医生的保险。据我的理解，那就是 University Miami 住院医生保险。
Yes, I had that insurance when I was during the 5 years when I was a resident in University of Miami.
What years were those?
那个是从哪年到哪年
2003年到2008年。
2003 through 2008.
Prior to 2003, did you carry medical malpractice insurance?
那2003年之前你有没有这种医疗事故保险？
In any country?
在任何国家？
应该没有。
I don't think I had.
In July of 1991, you went to Manchester?
Yes，是的。
1991年你7月份你去了曼彻斯特。
是。
Yes.
That's in England?
是在英国对吧？
是。
For what purpose?
你去是什么目的呢？
我是受曼彻斯特大学医学院遗传系和听力系邀请进行这个一个 fellowship 的工作是进行临床科研相关的对耳聋的一个研究的工作。这工作包括这个面试病人。
I was
做病史抽血。
I was invited by University of Manchester Medical School to their otolaryngology department.
在听力
I was
系
working
audiology 和临床
audiology and
human genetic
the human genetic department to work in their a fellowship program, which related to the study of death.
yes definitely
And that work over there involved patient interview
and blood draw take 抽血
and also blood drawing
and 听力检测
and the audiology test.
and 我的 job title 我的工作 title 除了这个 fellowship 你还有这个叫那个英国的就是最 junior 的医生叫 honorary registrar
And my job title, besides the fellow, it also have the honorary registrar.
registrar
Honorary registrar.
Register?
honorary registrar so that's
Honorary
English for junior doctor
Honorary registrar?
registrar yeah registrar is like a honorary
It's okay.
junior doctor
Okay.
It's a,
that's why this is a job I pay tax I
Doctor, you've answered. You've answered.
他说可以了，你回
So,
答。
did you stay continuously in the United Kingdom until 1998?
那你是一直连续在英国的一直待到1998年，对吗
是的
？That's correct.
Since 1991?
就
Yes.
从1991
是的
年开始。Yes.
What did you do after, did you leave the United Kingdom in 1998?
那你是1998年离开了英国，对吗
是的
Where
That's
did you
correct.
go?
那你去哪儿了？
Richmond Virginia Medical College of
？Richmond
Virginia MCV
Medical College of Virginia.
For what purpose?
去做什么？
我是受 Richmond 遗传系主任和耳鼻喉科系主任之邀，来进行遗传性耳聋的研究，同时准备开始我的耳鼻喉头颈外科医生的训练，在美国。
I was invited by the directors of the medical school's genetic department and the ENT department to do the research work for genetic death, and also I was
Genetic
death?
hearing loss, deafness, hearing
Deaf.
loss.
deaf.
Genetic deafness.
That's what he's been referring, in the last answers as well, it was deaf, not deaf,
Deaf.
if you took that down in Manchester, so, go ahead.
Yeah, and I also started my training in the ENT head and neck.
Prepare, start my training.
Okay, prepare for the training for the ENT and head and neck specialty.
Surgeon.
Read that back, I want to see what you got there.
Let's see. I was invited by the directors of the medical school's genetic department and ENT departments to do research work for genetic deafness. And I also started my training in the ENT.
That's
Prepared,
a-
finished to take the ENT head and neck specialty.
To prepare my training,
Okay.
not a start, not time.
Not studying.
No.
In 1998, was that the first time you arrived in the United States?
那1998年是你第一次到达美国，对吗
不是。
？No。
Tell us about your prior visits to the United
啊，那
States.
你在这之前都来过
第一
美国
次来美国是1992年
？The first time I came to United States was 1992.
to 参加一个有关耳聋方面的会议，在圣地亚哥。
To attend a conference in San Diego. In San Diego, it was on the deafness research.
Any other visits?
那还有其他的时间来过吗
Before many times, almost every year.
I
每年都来。
I visited almost every year.
Were your visits to the United States prior to 1998 limited to attending conferences?
那你在就是92年之前来美国，都是就是仅限于参加会议，对吗
是的。
？That's correct.
In 1998, did you become a continuous resident of the United States at that time?
那你在1998年的时候你变成了这个美国的这个连续的住院医，对吗？
不是98年，是98年在 MCV 作为 faculty research faculty， 然后同时因为要进美国 ENT 住院医生是一个非常高竞争的专业，我要通过所有的对外国医学生的考试、面试，所以呢，我是从2003年开始我的住院医师训练，但是从2001年我就从 MCV 把我的 research lab 搬到了 University Miami.
It was not 1998 because it is a very competitive specialty to become a resident. So I started to do I started my residency. In order to start my residency, I need to finish all the tests and the interviews. So my residency eventually started in 2003. So in 1998, I moved my research moved my research project down to University of Miami.
那是是2001年。
That was 2001.
I understand. Thank you. From 1998 onwards, did you live continuously in the United States?
那就是在1998年之后，你是一直连续住在美国，对吗？
是的。
That's correct.
In 1998 to 2001, did you see patients while you were at the Virginia Medical College of VCU?
那你在1998年到2001年，你在这个Virginia 大学这个期间有没有看过病人？
仅限于用来做研究的病人。
It was restricted only to the
research
the patients for research purposes.
I see. Was that because you were not licensed as a medical practitioner at that time in the United States?
那是不是因为你当时并没有在美国拿到这个行医的执照？
是的。
That's correct.
When you were in the United Kingdom, did you see patients?
那你在英国的时候有没有看过病人？
也是限于这个做研究的 purpose。我看过耳聋的病人，特别是家居性的。
Yes, but that was for research purposes only. I did see patients with the family history of deafness.
Hearing.
And the patients that you saw with a family history of deafness, they were all as part of a research project in the UK?
那你在那你所看的这些个有这个家族记录、家族史的这种耳聋病人，这些都是你在英国所做的那个研究的一部分，对吗？
对，这都是我的导师，我的 mentor， 他们的这个研究病人。
Yes, they were all the patients of my mentor, and they were
doctors. They are medical doctor.
His patients, and because my mentor were medical doctors.
So while you were in the United Kingdom, all the patients that you saw were done under the auspices of a licensed United Kingdom medical doctor, your mentors?
那就是说，你在英国所看的这些病人都是在就是有医疗执照的这个医生的那个监管下就是你的导师的这个监督下所看的，对吗？
对的。
That's correct.
然后通过他们的就是纳入研究计划的那个人员都有同意书，然后都同意我作为研究成员多数我的研究都是到家访问他们，就像做调查一样。
Yes, and all of those patients have had the consent for joining that research project, and they all have the consent to have me to interview them. Most of the interviews were done by house visiting. House visiting.
Visit at home, not a clinical setting. This is.
It's all right.
Yeah.
After getting licensed as a medical doctor in China, what was the next license to practice medicine that you obtained anywhere else?
那你在中国拿到了这个行医执照以后，那么你下一个就是所拿到的这个行医执照是在什么地方、什么时间拿到的？
就在美国。
In United States.
When?
什么时间？
这个as a resident license in 2003，我刚开始我的住院医生训练。
I got
佛罗里达 license.
I got my license, the Florida license for residency in 2003.
And a Chuan license as a practice ENT doctor 2008年。
And I was fully licensed as a ENT doctor in 2008.
When you received your residency license in 2003, until your medical license in 2008, were you authorized to treat patients on your own?
那你在2003年拿到了这个住院医的执照，和你在2008年拿到你的那个医生完全的医生执照之前这段期间，你能不能够就是说独立的看病人？
都是在 full license doctor 的指导下，这是一个共同规则。美国的我们住院医生都是在，你不能这个独立的这个treat 病人。
I did that under the directory of fully licensed medical doctors during that time. That is the rule for the all residencies in United States. We were not allowed to see to see patients independently.
Understood. So you have been licensed to see patients independently in the United States since 2008?
那也就是说你是在2008年开始可以独立的看病人了，对吗？
是。
Correct.
We had a little bit of discussion about the translator here. What is your native language?
我们讨论过一些关于这个翻译的问题。那么你的母语是什么？
中文。
Chinese.
Which dialect?
是哪个口音呢？
是中文叫
Mandarin.
Do you speak any other Chinese dialects?
那你还说其他的方言吗？
没有。
No.
Can you tell us about all the languages that you are able to speak?
那你能不能讲一下你所能够讲的这个各种所有的语言都包括哪些？
中文。
Chinese.
英语。
English.
And 现在20%西班牙语。
And Spanish. About
little bit.
A little bit, like 20%.
Muchas gracias por su tiempo.
Muy bien. Good. Gracias.
What is your formal training in the English language?
那你这个在英语这方面受到的什么样的正式的训练吗？
是的。
也。
在我们那个医学院期间 ，even 甚至医学院入学考试，英语是算主要的考试科目。
In my medical school education, English is one of the major required classes.
Were courses in your medical school taught in English?
那你在医学院你上的课是用英语上课吗？
医学院课不是，中文。
No, in Chinese.
但是在我的3年 ENT 上课期间，我们专门有美国老师专门教英语。
But during my ENT training, the 3 years ENT training, we have American professors to come and taught us in English.
Is it correct to say that you took a formal course in medical school on the English language?
那你就是能不能说你在医学院里头上正式的学过英语？
对，英语作为我的第一外国语言。
Yes.
学习。
English is my first or primary foreign language in my study.
My question is, did he take a course in medicine in English versus an actual course in English?
我的意思是说，你有没有就是说用英语来学这个医学的这个课程？不是说你是不是上过英语课？
教科书都是中文，但是呢有英文的术语，专业术语。
Our textbook were in Chinese, but it does have they all did have a English for the medical
terminology.
Have you ever taken a formal course in English language?
那就是说有没有就是正式的这个课程是用英语上的？
I'm not talking medicine, course in English.
就是你有没有正式上过英语课？不是说医学课，就是
对，
英语。
英语那个时候你想从 high school 英语课就是主要的外国语言 ，medical school 有专门英语课，研究生也有英语课。那就作为你可以告诉他是中国的高中、大学、医学院的一个必修课之一。
We had English courses in high school and in medical school and also graduate school. The English course were all required classes.
How many of those courses did you take post high school?
那你在高中以后你这些英语课、这些个必修课、英语必修课都上过哪些？都上过多少？
就是每一个学期，譬如说都有，据我记得就是一周有1个小时的英语课，主要是写作。
According to my memory, we had English courses in every school year or semester, and it's like one class every week.
Different level.
In different levels.
Written instruction or oral or both?
这个主要是写还是口语？Both.
Were the instructors native English speakers?
那你讲课的这些老师都是英语为母语的吗？
有 mixed 的，有英语母语的，就是那个时候中国刚刚开始聘外国，特别就像我在读 graduate school 期间，我们的英语老师就是 from America.
Yes, we had both. When I was in the graduate school, my English teacher was hired from United States.
How would you rate your English speaking? Start over. How would you rate your English comprehension skills?
那你这个你对于你自己这个英文的理解能力是打多少分呢？是怎么样评价？
应该是因为在中国那个时候90年代初要出国的话，你首先要通过英语考试，然后特别是 UK 他们都要求你有英语的成绩，所以我的 written skill 是没问题，是肯定我觉得有90% 但是 oral English 可能应该是60-70%吧。
Because in China during 1990s, if you need to go to study in foreign country, you need to pass the English test, and
requested by
it would
different country. Here, TOEFL 那个英国就是他们的 entry 考试。
Yeah, so the test was required by depending on the country you're going. So in the United States it was TOEFL, and in United Kingdom it was their called the entry exam. And so for my English comprehension, I would say for written English, it will be pretty good, like 90%. For oral, I would say 60 to 70%.
By that time.
When you say oral, you're talking conversational English?
Yes, spoken English, oral,
Oral.
communication.
Spoken oral English?
Yes.
Have you ever practiced since 1984, have you practiced in any other medical field outside of otolaryngology?
那从1984年开始， 你有没有就是从事过任何这个耳鼻喉科以外的专业的行医
没有。
？No。
When did you start at the University of Miami?
是什么时候在迈阿密大学开始在迈阿密大学工作
2011年8月份。
？August 2011。
2001。
2001。
2001。1 month before 911.
From 2001 until 2003, when you received your residency license, what were your professional duties and responsibilities?
那从2001年到2003年，你拿到你的住院医执照这个期间你的工作的职责是什么？在迈阿密大学
是作为 assistant professor, research assistant professor.
I was a
在耳鼻喉科
research assistant professor in its
ENT department.
ENT department.
Can you describe how you arrived at the University of Miami? I want to get a background of if you applied, if somebody invited you, just in general.
你能不能描述一下你是如何来到迈阿密大学的？我需要知道一些个关于你是怎么样被邀请的，或者是你申请的这些个背景的信息。
好，因为通过我前面的在耳鼻喉，特别是耳聋研究和病人管理的，在中国和英国的经验，我呢，在2001年的时候，已经成为世界上对遗传性耳聋研究和诊断方面的专家之一。
Because of my prior experience in the ENT research and also in the patient management, by year 2001, I was already a world famous expert in genetic deafness.
但是我的 dream 是总希望我回到成为一个 fully licensed 的 ENT doctor， 成为世界上最好的耳鼻喉科大夫。这就是为什么我愿意 sacrifice 回到临床，给的我的 full license。然后呢，当时迈阿密因为要进入这个迈阿密大学也正需要这方面的这个前沿的研究，所以呢，他们就邀请我加入 faculty。
But my dream was always to get back in the clinical practice and to become the best ENT doctor in the world. And at that time, the University of Miami was in need of people to do the research in this area. So I was invited at the time.
From 2001 to 2003, about how many hours a week did you work in your various professional capacities?
那在2001年到2003年这个期间，你每周就是做这些工作，做这些个专业工作多少个小时？大约？
这个大约那就是像所有的research faculty 一样，指导学生研究了，当然研究学生，那就是1周5天，每天规定8小时。
So as all other research faculty in United States in the University of Miami, I spend like 5 days a week and 8 hours, at least 8 hours a day, in this type of job, such as directing or directing the students.
Or my lab people.
And the people in the lab people.
At this time, you were not seeing patients, is that correct?
那在这个时间的时候，你没有看病人，对吧？
没有，但限于就是 research 的这个参加者。
Correct. I did see the patient who
family
joined the research the study program.
They were individuals who had agreed to be part of a research program, is that correct?
那就是他们都是这些人都是同意参加这些研究项目的个人，对吗？
从那些 for license 的 ear doctor refer 到研究课题。
Yes, they were referred to our research project by the fully licensed medical doctor.
You said you worked at least 8 hours. Can you ballpark your weekly workload from 2001 to 2003? 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 80 hours a week?
那你说你这个每天至少得工作8小时，那么你在2001年到2003年这个，你能不能够大致估计一下你工作这个时间？比方说是1周40、50、60小时，大概是多少？
对，一般这个就是从早上8点开始到下午5点，那时候都是我要同时指导这个 research lab 的工作和这个病人的这个就是 research subject 的收集或者有时候的工作在周末，因为像这个基金的书写总结文章的，因为 research 工作并不是一个很实的8小时这时间。
So usually during that time, usually starting from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I had to manage and direct the research lab, and also doing the information collection from the research subject, which is the patient who agreed to join the research program. And also I sometimes worked during the weekend, mostly in the grant application writing, because my job was not like strictly to the 8 hours in the office.
So outside of normal business hours, you also engaged in applying for grants, research grants?
Yeah, that's my. 这是我作为主练者 lab leader 的责任，是的。
Yes, that is my duty as the lab leader.
And this was done during the weekends?
那这些都是在周末做进行。
对，都基本上有时候是工作时间，因为 这个国家书写它都有 cycling 的国家，主要是 NIH federal fund。
That depends. Sometimes during I did that during the normal work hours, because for the grant application we have to follow the application cycles, because our application were mostly to NIH,
National
the
Institutes of Health?
是的。
Yeah, that's federal funding.
Did your workload increase in 2003 when you became a resident at Jackson Memorial Hospital?
那你在2003年变成Jackson Memorial Hospital 的那个住院医的时候，那你的这个工作量是不是增大了呢？
当然，而且
of course.
也这个 training 那就成我的主要。
And the training became my primary duty.
Did the time in being a research assistant professor at the University of Miami, was that lessened as a result of your residency at Jackson Memorial?
那你在这个做这个就是这个 research faculty， 在这个迈阿密大学做 research faculty， 这个工作是不是就是在你开始做这个住院医那个 Jackson Memorial Hospital 住院医以后，这个工作就减少了呢？
减少一些，也是。还有我那个时候已经有一个完整的 team， 来 manage 我的 research， 因为我不可能有像 full-time research 这样，我多数都基本上都是用我的这个 vacation 或者 spare time weekend 来 manage 我的 lab。
So the research work became less
Much
during the
less.
time because because I already established a research team at the time, so they could do most of the more management works for me. So I did spend a lot of time during my after work times to contribute to the research work.
Would you say that in 2003, the number of hours in the week that you spent on your professional tasks and duties increased?
那你就是说，在2003年开始，那么你总的就是说，在你的这个职业的这方面所那个就是说要这方面的职责上要花费的时间又多了，对吗？工作量又多了。
是的。
Yes.
By a lot?
是增加了很多吗？
主要是当然我是 full time， 是住院医生 training， 这是我的主要的新job。
Yes, I became a full-time trainee. That was my new job.
The question was, did your workload increase by a lot?
那你是不是就是说工作量一下增大了很多？
临床工作是的。
Yes.
In 2008, when you became fully licensed, would you say your workload stayed the same, decreased, or increased? And by workload, I mean the universe of all your professional duties.
那么就是在2008年你拿到了这个完全的这个行医执照的时候呢，那你的工作量是增大了呢，还是一样呢，还是减少了？我说的工作量呢，指的是你全部的这种职业的这方面所做的工作的时间。
工作量都差不多，但是这个分配和 职责范围完全不一样。Research 是一样的，clinical 临床工作完全不一样，因为我作为 attending for fully licensed doctor.
The whole workload was about the same. However, the scope of the duties changed. The research part stayed the same, but because I was licensed, so my job in the clinical work becomes a attendee. From training to
Attending.
attendee.
Attending physician.
Attending
doctor,
physician.
yeah, in medical school we call professor medical attending.
Attending doctor.
Yeah,
Okay.
attending. 我们要 instruct the resident with the team, teaching.
Okay.
You would say that at that time in 2008, your responsibilities increased?
那你在2008年的时候，你的责任是不是增加了？
责任没有增加，但是是完全不同的责任 ，different.
I wouldn't say it increased, but they're different. They were different.
Total different.
They're
Yeah,
totally
before I'm training, work under licensed doctor.
Go through the
而且
interpreter.
在 for license 下工作。现在我的 training 在我的 license 下工作。
The scope of my responsibility has changed. Before that, I worked under a fully licensed doctor, and after I got licensed, I become the doctor, and the trainees are working under my supervision.
Would you agree that that translates to an increase in responsibility?
那你觉得你这样是不是就说明你的那个职责更大了，责任更大？
当然，
Of course.
On or about August 5, 2016, can you describe all of the different types of professional jobs and duties that you did?
那在就是大概在2016年8月5号那一天，或者是前后那一段时间，你能不能够描述一下你在当时的你的这个职业的这个责任或者是工作内容？
So let me just help.
16年。
You were seeing patients as the attending doctor, correct?
Did we get an
比如说
answer?
我给你
moving
那个
on.
解释一下，
Yeah, I just
就是说你是在那个2016年8月5号那段时间，你首先你要看病人对吧？
那天我的看病人都是我的工作是2016年吗？还是15年？
You're asking about 2016 or
Correct.
2015?
2016.
2016年。
等等。
Excuse me, 2015.
对不起，是2015年。
Okay, can we get a full question?
让他再重
Hold on
复
one。second, let's get a full question.
On or about August of 2015, were you doing medical research?
那在2015年的8月5号，或者是那前后那段时间，你是不是还在做医学研究工作？
没有那天。
No, not on that day.
No, I'm talking about, let's talk about 2015, the year 2015.
我是说，咱们就说那一年，在2015年那一年，还有没有做过研究工作？
Were you still engaged in medical research?
在那个时候，
是的
你还是不是从事研究？
有的。
Yes.
Were you heading a laboratory?
那你还是不是作为一个实验室的领导
是的。
？Yes.
Were you seeing patients as the attending doctor?
那你是不是还作为医生来看病人
是的，
？Yes。
Were you writing grants?
你有没有在写这个基金的申请？
一年总会有1、2次，但是不是在8月份，一般都在2月或者10月。
There were like 1 or 2 times each year for grant application, but it wasn't in August. Usually it was either in February or October.
Understood. I'm just trying to get an idea of all the things you're involved in, doctor.
Yeah.
他就想知道你当时就说所从事的所有的这些个事情。
那我能
What else?
我能很简单的把我的 duty 很简单的陈述一下吗？我作为
Can I give you
professor
a
和 attending
brief description about my job duty as a professor and a doctor in 2015?
I have a CV here updated February 2017. And I can show you a copy if you like, but would you say that that is an accurate reflection
yeah
of
by
all
that
your
time for that year
of all your
我
professional activities?
有一个你这个2017年2月的一个简历那你觉得这个简历上，如果你要需要的话，我可以给你看一下。你觉得这个简历上对于你的这个描述，工作描述是不是能够反映出你在15年的那个时候的工作的内容？
差不多。
Yeah, it's about the same. Yeah.
In 2016.
就是在2016年。
它是17年的 CV 吗？
So that was that the CV from 2017?
Yes, sir.
2017.
应该接近。
Yeah, that would be. That should be very close to what
because
I did.
我的工作3部分。
It says February 2017.
那说的是2017年2月的简历。
去年，对，因为我有3个部分因为随着我的责任对系里的变化，这些工作每年都有一些调整。作为 attending PI vice chair the duty.
I had so I had 3 main parts of duties, and every year there's some adjustment between them. It was the first one is the attending doctor, and the second is the PI, the primary investigator, and the third one is
vice chair.
A vice chair
for
of the
department.
What is PI?
Principal investigator.
Is that a laboratory?
That's a laboratory to get the funding to do medical research.
Understood.
When you get to a point, you're going to take a break. Why don't we take a 5-minute break?
We can take a 5-minute break right now. That's fine.
We only have 20 minutes left on this.
Oh, that's
DVD,
good.
so I'll
Off the
change.
record.
We'll go off the record. Here marks the end of DVD number 1 at 1:02.